The blade dealer, make a nigga forfeit, yeah, cause I'm the realest. Hey, niggas talking short shit, nah, I need a million.
Big stepper, yeah, bitch, I be stepping. Cooling kit with the flip switch, bitch, that's the weapon. No drama.
Welcome to New York Giants Full Access.
This legend bring them sounds in one time.
I'm hard, and we got you. And that's it, man. Go purchase Big Pat Sports Talk merch and support the family, man. And welcome to Big Pat Sports Talk. Thank you for your support. What's going on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, all platforms? Welcome to another episode of New York Giants Full Access with your boy Big Pat Sports Talk. And today's subject, the NFL has released their official 2024 preview for the New York Giants. They're going to go over some things that they did last season, and they're going to predict what the Giants team will be like this 2024 season. So we're going to listen in, and then I'm going to chime in and do my thing. So let's get into it.
New York Giants slid their way to a 6-11 record in 2023.
Didn't go the way we wanted to.
2024 win total is a mere 6.5. They were 30th in points per game last year, 29th in yards per game, 30th on third down, 31st in the red zone.
So we were at the bottom of the league at just about every offensive category. So all the people that tell you that the team looks so much better after Daniel Jones went down, the numbers say a little bit different. We only averaged 15.6 points per game, which was 30th. We on third down, we were 30th. Those third and ones and third and twos are absolutely, utterly ridiculous. We can't pick those up. And we were 31st in the red zone. Now, those numbers were much higher when Daniel Jones was healthy the year prior. So that's a little bit of the Daniel Jones effect on the offense last year. Well, let's keep going.
By the Eagles, and the game is over.
QB position went from Danny Dimes to Tommy 2 Cents to Tyrod Taylor. DJ's the one they're paying the big bucks to, though.
Their first points of the season on a Jones 14-yard touchdown run.
Jones only played in 6 games, 2 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, a 70.5 rating.
Jones is going to throws near side. Ball picked up!
Did the Giants overreach on his contract, or can he turn things around? Answer to that question will be partially answered by their O-line play.
85 sacks taken last year, ranked 32nd, and I believe the next closest team was like 20 sacks away, bro. That is absolutely ridiculous, and that could not happen this year. That has to be cut by at least 60%. I want to see this line only give up a little over 30 sacks. Let's see if we can give up only a little over 30 sacks. If we can do that, this offensive line is playing pretty well. Let's get it down. Let's get it down to 40. Let's cut that in half. And I believe this team is a playoff team. I'm just going to be honest with you.
Holy saccaroni and cheese, the Giants QBs were dropped 85 times in 2023, 20 more than the second to last team. And don't forget,
see,
they didn't throw that much.
Being chased, gets hit, ball comes out, fumble Seahawks!
And yes, we were one of the teams that did not throw that much last year, believe it or not. And we gave up 20 more sacks than the next closest team to us. And we weren't even throwing the ball that much. That's how porous this offensive line was last year. But people don't want to acknowledge that because they don't like Daniel Jones.
Every New York lineman who took significant snaps last year gave up a pressure rate higher than their position's average.
The 8th sack of the ball game for the...
But you're going to tell me this offensive line didn't derail this team. Okay.
Las Vegas Raiders.
So, changes. 2 new guards. Aaron Stinney comes over from Tampa Bay. John Runyon from Green Bay. Jermaine Eleanor takes over right tackle. He was with Vegas. Each guy comes off good years.
Be exactly where your feet is, man. Enjoy the moment.
Hopefully those guys can change the offensive line outlook because we need it.
That group needs to come together to try and get max value out of their number 1 pick, wide receiver Malik Neighbors.
They get the most electrifying wide receiver in this class. Not the most polished, but a big play waiting to happen.
He joins Darius Slayton. He had 770 yards last year. It almost felt like 2K under the circumstances.
And I do believe Darius Slayton will be our number 2 receiver. 50 catches for 770 yards and 4 touchdowns. That is absolutely a pretty doggone good feat considering the circumstances last year. Darius Slayton has value, people. Whether you want to like him or not, he has very good value for this team, and I do believe he will be the number 2 receiver starting the season.
Deep ball down the left side. He's got Slayton who makes the catch at the 20, to the 15, to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown, Giant!
Wan'Dale Robinson chipped in with 525 in his year, too.
Wan'Dale.
Okay, so Wan'Dale had 60 catches for 525 yards and a touchdown last year. I think he can get 65 catches for about 850 yards and about 4 touchdowns this upcoming year. If he does that, that would be a pretty doggone good year for Wan'Dale Robinson. And I do believe that will elevate this team. I do believe he gets the same amount of receptions, but I think he's able to do more with those receptions because you see he has under a 10-yard per average per catch. I think he gets that around maybe 11 to 12, and I think he gets about 4 touchdowns this year. 1 big explosive touchdowns, and he gets a couple of touchdowns in the red zone for us. Maybe 5 to 6 if he gets a couple of rushing touchdowns. That's what I think Wan'Dale Robinson could do for us.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I love Wan'Dale. Quick, little, can run routes.
No more tight end Darren Waller, 52 catches, 552 yards in 12 games.
Act like this new. Come on!
I hate to say I'm not sad to see him go, but praying for him, for his mental health and everything. And even though he had a horrible year last year, he still had over 500 yards. That goes to his talent, man. But unfortunately, we won't be able to see it.
Quit acting like this new.
No more Saquon Barkley to dump to. He had over 40 catches, 4 scores through the air.
Fires to Barkley, makes the catch, reaches.
Hey, everybody's sad about Saquon Barkley, and everybody's waiting for the Hard Knocks tonight to pretty much see if they can bash Joe Shane about the whole Saquon Barkley contract situation. So we're going to see that later tonight on Hard Knocks. I'm going to do a review on that. But he had 41 catches last year. I do believe we could get that production out of multiple backs.
For the touchdown!
No more painted the town blue 6 times on the ground as well. Scratched out 962 yards. Those were some tough yards.
Left for Barkley, bounces left to the goal line. Touchdown, Giant!
Taking over his role, Devin Singletary, almost 900 yards, 4.2 a carry for the Texans in 2023.
So we signed Devin Singletary. Everybody's saying that, oh my God, he's so terrible. A lot of people on Twitter are saying that. You got to notice that the dude almost had as many rushing yards as Saquon Barkley last year, and he had a higher yards per carry. And with the new offensive line, I do believe he could get similar production. Maybe he can get closer to 1,000. Who knows? But I do believe Devin Singletary will be a valuable asset to this team moving forward.
Tackle from behind, that is a terrific gainer.
Defensive side of the ball wasn't much better for New York. 26th in points per game, 27th in yards per game, 25th in the red zone.
So we were 26 in points per game, given basically 24 points a game, and we were 27th in yards and 25th in the red zone. All those numbers have to go up or go down per se. Let's see if we could get our points per game around 18 to 19. Let's say yards per game we could get in the top 15 in the red zone. I do believe we could be a top 10 red zone defense, to be honest with you. We got the length, we got the height, we got the ball hawks, we got the defensive line now, and we got two very good linebackers in McFadden and Bobby O. I do believe this defense will be way better than last year.
Flip to the left side of the end zone. Touchdown to Ferguson.
4.7 yards per carry allowed on the ground, only one team worse.
Give to Connor off the left side and into the end.
So now, this is the part of the defense that all New York Giants fans should have a keen eye at looking at this upcoming season is the defense against the run. The run defense has been porous, and it's been porous for some years now. 31st in yards per carry, 29th in yards per game. That is not good at all. When you're allowing teams to run on you like that, they're wasting clock for one thing. They're tiring your defensive out. They're moving the chains consistently, and if they're putting up points, which our red zone defense was only 25th, so they were putting up points as well. And I'm not just talking about field goals. I'm talking about touchdowns. That's a recipe for disaster. Now, luckily enough, last year we got a lot of turnovers because that's what helped us a lot. So if it wasn't for those turnovers, it might have been even worse last year. So our run defense has to get way better this year, bro. We got Dexter Lawrence, Thibodeau, Brian Burns, Ojulari, DJ Davidson, Anderson, and you guys got to stop the run this year. If you stop the run this year, we can be a dominant defense this year. I think we can be a top 10 defense if we can stop the run. And I'm not saying you have to be number one against the run, but you can't be 31st. At least be top. I want us to be top 10 because I know we have that potential. And if we could get those yards per carry below 3, below 4, around 3.3, 3.2, 3.1, somewhere around there, that's pretty high. That's around top 10. Yards per game, 132. That is utterly ridiculous. That's more than a football field. Cannot have that happen. Let's get that down in the 80s. In the 70s would be absolutely phenomenal. But our red zone defense would be a lot higher if we can stop the run. So yeah, that run defense last year was absolutely woeful. It was worse than I thought.
34 sacks, tied for 28th. So the idea that New York's secondary...
So 34 sacks, tied for 28th. Let's see if we can get in the 50s this year. And the quarterback hits will go up with more sacks. Let's see if we can get around 50 sacks this year. Let's set a bar, man. The extra sack a game. Let's set a bar. Let's get around 50 sacks, man. I think we can do it with Brian Burns, Thibodeau, Ojulari, Dex, all those guys, and the way that Shane Bourne calls his defenses with wide 9 fronts, odd fronts, even fronts, mid blitz. He does mid blitzes. We're gonna do a lot more stunts this year. We definitely have to get that number higher than 34. So
held its own makes their performance even more impressive. They held quarterbacks to the 9th lowest rate, 11th lowest completion percentage, had 18 interceptions, tied for 3rd most.
So everybody is super worried about our secondary. Our secondary actually played pretty doggone well last year. We were top 10 in efficiency rating, and tied for 3rd with 18 interceptions. So our secondary was pretty good last year, considering the circumstances. So that's why I'm not going overboard with this cornerback 2 and everything. I know we had Adoree Jackson, but it seems like everybody was playing well last year. We did lose Xavier McKinney and Adoree Jackson. I understand that. But we got Tyler Nubin, and I believe Cordell Flock can step up and play that cornerback 2 position. And don't sleep on Nick McLeod. Nick McLeod can make plays. Pinnock can make plays. So I'm not as worried about our secondary as a lot of people are.
It's intercepted by Isaiah Simmons.
Even so, 2 rookies could start for them this season. Strong safety Tyler Nubin, their 2nd rounder.
Mention him as the best safety in the draft. He's got the
ball hawk. That's all I gotta say.
production to back it up. 13 career interceptions. Charles, tremendous awareness, tremendous ball skills for Newman.
And cornerback Drew Phillips, who they picked up in the 3rd round.
He is intense.
Now, Drew Phillips, I will say this. I do believe he will be our starting slot cornerback. He's going to get a lot of work this season. So, a lot of things are going to determine how well Andrew Phillips plays. If Andrew Phillips plays very well, I believe we will have a top secondary in this league as well. Because where do you always attack the New York Giants? In the slot. Pause. And if he can hold up against a CeeDee Lamb when he has to play him in the slot, a Terry McLaurin when he has to play him in the slot, Devontae Smith when he has to play him in the slot. If he can hold up against those guys in the slot, Justin Jefferson the very first game, so he's gonna have a tough plate. He's gonna have a lot on his plate this year, but let's see if he can step up and get it done.
He is aggressive and he is physical. It shows up with how physical he is at the line of scrimmage, as well as how physical he is down the field.
Rookie cornerback Deonte Banks lived up to his 1st-round selection, finished with a sub-90 rating allowed.
Clean catch, drag.
Number 1 corner.
That left foot, that's an interception. That is a nice play by Deonte Banks.
And he faced the most targets on the team last season. He had only a 72 rating against him. I think we got to start here.
Cornerback Cordell Flott held quarterbacks to a mid-80s rating.
Here's Prescott, and that is going to be picked off.
Cordell Flott, mid-80s. Want to see him get that down into the 70s this year.
Cordell Flott.
Gone is veteran cornerback Adoree Jackson.
Picked off along the right sideline by Adoree Jackson.
Held his targets to a low 90s rating.
So Adoree Jackson, the person that left, had the lowest rating out of the cornerbacks that were starters last year. So, not saying that he was a bum and he won't be missed, but he did have the lowest rating. He gave up the most last year based on quarterback rating going against him. So, like I said, the secondary, I'm not too worried about it.
They also lost safety Xavier McKinney, and he balled for them last year. Held QBs to a low 60s rating, 11 passes defensed, 3 INTs, and 116 tackles.
Xavier McKinney.
Yeah, Xavier McKinney balled last year. I don't have any hate towards Xavier McKinney, and he went on to get paid. And I don't believe that the Giants felt that he was worth $17 million per year. And you know, we prioritized the trenches this year over the flash, which I still say it was the right decision. Will Xavier McKinney be missed? Yeah, he'll be missed. He's a very good player. On his way to be a Pro Bowl player, maybe even an All-Pro over there with the Packers this year. So, yeah, he will be missed, and he did ball out last year. Only 62 rating against him. That's almost elite. So, yeah, he will be missed, but it's not the end of the world.
He never took a backward step.
His replacement, Jalen Mills, got him out of New England, held quarterbacks to a sub-90 rating at least, 8 starts and 17 games played.
Broken up. Beautifully done by Jalen Mills.
To the people chasing the sunrise with you, outrunning your doubts, inspire.
He'll team up with safety Jason Pinnock. He held quarterbacks to a sub-60 rating, 2 picks, 85 tackles.
Jason Pinnock, 100.
Jason Pinnock, man, held teams to below a 60 rating last year with 2 sacks and 2 picks. I do believe Pinnock's a star in the making as well. So with Pinnock and Newman, I do believe we'll be okay without Xavier McKinney. We'll be okay. Dane Belton. You got Jalen Mills as the veteran to teach those guys, and he can give you some very good snaps. Yeah, we'll be okay. Our secondary was way better than what people thought last year, for sure.
2 yards!
It wasn't that they didn't have anyone helping out up front, and this year they'll have more. Kayvon Thibodeau went for 11.5 sacks, broke out.
Thibodeau, I want to see you get at least 15 sacks this year.
Out in his 2nd year.
Hit by Thibodeau and sacked. Thibodeau's 2nd sack of the game.
Lining up opposite of him this season, Mr. Burns. Monty would get broke by a no lineman, but not.
Brian Burns, I want you to get at least 15 this upcoming year.
Bryan 8 bags a year ago. He's lacked a true Smithers, so we'll see how excellent he is with a threat opposite of him.
And able to use that bend to knock that ball away.
Then add some Dexter to the mix.
Woo! Come on, throw it, man. You think I was that fast?
Sexy Dixie.
Lawrence doesn't need knives to do his job, though. DT comes off a Pro Bowl season, cut up 4.5 QBs, nicked him a bunch too, a hefty.
Do you guys think Dexter Lawrence could get 10 sacks this season? Let me know in the comments if you think Dexter Lawrence can actually get 10 sacks this season. Let's see. I say he gets 6, but let's see if some of you guys out there believe he could get 10. I know he can do it, but let's see.
The 21 QB hits.
I'm crushing. I'm crushing.
Outside linebacker Jihad Ward found his way to the QB 5 times at least.
His double team bowls right over David Andrews and gets to Zappy before he can make a throw or scramble.
But they needed more, and they need more. Outside linebacker Azeez Ojulari only 2.5 sacks in 11 games. Their inside line.
Hey, look. Ojulari, you don't have to step up this year, man. I want to see you get about 10 sacks as well. Now, will Thibodeau or Burns get 15 apiece and Ojulari get 10? I doubt it, but I want to see Ojulari be healthy, bro. You're not even getting the same amount of snaps that you're going to get because Brian Burns is here, so you should be relatively healthy. If you could pitch in 7 to 8 sacks, man, that's going to be one heck of a boost, man. But you got to stay healthy, bro.
Backers didn't sack many dudes. Still, Bobby Okereke with a...
Bobby O, one of the best linebackers in the league, underrated again this year, not even in the top 10. He'll be in the top 10 after this year.
Robust 149 tackles.
Stafford pumps, pressure comes. Stafford in trouble, down he goes! Bobby Okereke!
Linebacker Micah McFadden also had triple-digit takedowns.
Jacobs again, and enough of that, said Micah McFadden, into the backfield to drop him for a loss.
Giants let defensive tackle A'Shawn Robinson go. He had...
We're going to miss him. We're going to miss A'Shawn Robinson, man.
Over 60 tackles from the trenches. That's tough to replace. Jordan Phillips, the guy who will try and do it, only played 14 games for Buffalo, did have 2.5 sacks at least.
He's tripped up and sacked. Jordan Phillips got him.
Zoom out for a second to soak it all in. DJ's return doesn't make the QB position worse, just can't say he makes it better yet either, so a push. Singletary for Saquon, that's a downgrade. But Neighbors is an upgrade even though he doesn't bump anyone specific. Lots of Giants fans still hold out hope Jalen Hyatt can do a little something too. In the trenches...
Okay, well, let me go back to that. So... as far as the primary weapons, far as the running back, receivers, and tight ends, the quarterback, they got Daniel Jones as not a downgrade or upgrade. They got it as a push. They got a downgrade from Saquon Barkley to Devin Singletary. I agree. I actually disagree with the Daniel Jones. I believe that's an upgrade. The Singletary, I agree, that's a downgrade. Slayton, Neighbors, and Wan'Dale Robinson and Hyatt is an upgrade from last year because of Malik Neighbors. And Bellinger to Darren Waller, yeah, that's a downgrade, but I do believe you get better blocking. Daniel Bellinger. And Theo Johnson being on the PUP list already is not good, but it is what it is. But I agree with that.
In the trenches, should be better. Runyon, he's an upgrade. Their line was 32nd according to PFF last year, so major growth potential.
So they gave our offensive line a major upgrade this year, which I do believe so.
Defensive side of things now, Burns is a clear upgrade over Jihad Ward. Phillips for Robinson, conservative push. It's borderline downgrade though. McFadden, Okereke back there at linebacker. Now let's make our way.
All right, so the addition of Brian Burns, we all know that's an upgrade. They gave Jordan Phillips a push for A'Shawn Robinson, but I'm going to say downgrade. I believe A'Shawn Robinson gives you a little bit more to what Jordan Phillips is given at this point in his career. So, yeah, I agree with that.
To the back end, Newbin and Mills for McKinney, that's a tough dude to replace off a year like he had. Banks seems like a cornerstone type corner. Flott, McLeod, Phillips, Holmes, it's a deep room, lots of youth. The low win total.
So the back end of the defense, They gave a downgrade to our safeties. You have to say that based on what Xavier McKinney did for us last year, and you don't know what Tyler Nubin is as a rookie, so I can agree with that downgrade. And it gave us a push with the secondary, even though we lost Adoree Jackson and picking up Drew Phillips. So, yeah, I can agree with that. Believe this is a pretty good preview so far.
The low win total the Giants got slapped with has layers to it. The first is found when you look at their 2024 opponents.
I came to work today.
Let's start with the worst case, explore the floor first, beat Minnesota at home to start the year off. Then you have to skip all the way to Washington at home week 9 for win number 2. Panthers on the road since they're a 5.5er. The Giants play 13 games against teams with higher expectations than theirs, so a 3-14 floor fueled by that schedule.
All right, so here's to the nitty-gritty. They actually got us as our floor 3-14. They say we beat the Vikings and then we lose to the Commanders, Browns, Cowboys, Seahawks, Bengals, Eagles, and Steelers before we get another win, which will be against the Commanders, and then we beat the Panthers right before our bye over in Germany. And then they have us losing to the Buccaneers, Cowboys, Saints, the Ravens, Falcons, Colts, and Eagles. So they got us on a one losing streak of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They have us with 1 7-game losing streak and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they have us with 2 7-game losing streaks. Good Lord. Please don't let this happen. They have us losing on 2 losing streaks of 7 games. Wow, that's a horrible season, bro. If that happens, that's an absolute woeful season. But hey, that's what they think about us.
14 floor fueled by that schedule.
Oh my gosh. This is crazy.
Now, if you believe DJ is a good quarterback who was just missing a WR1, then maybe they're a roster that's more worthy of 8 to 9 win status. Now they sweep Washington, feisty enough to beat Dallas and Philadelphia at home. They can nab a road win over Seattle, beat Baker and the Buck Boys, take down the Saints a few weeks later, and get a win over Indy at home week 17. That's 9 wins for their ceiling.
So they got our ceiling as 9-8. Now in the ceiling, they have us with a 4-2 record in a division. I think that can happen. I think we can split with the Eagles, and I think we can split with the Cowboys, considering the talent that we have on this team. And if this offensive line blocks, I know for a fact that we can. So they have us 4-2 in a division with 9-8, which probably gets us in the playoffs. They have us beating the Vikings still. They have us beating Geno Smith and the Seahawks. They have us beating the Buccaneers, the Saints, and the Colts. Now, they don't believe we could beat the Ravens or the Falcons. They don't believe we could beat Pittsburgh, and they don't believe we could beat the Bengals or the Browns. So they really have us 1, 2, 3. Yeah, they have us 0-4 against the AFC North. They have us winning 2 games in the NFC South. So that NFC North, if we can do 4-2 in the division, and let's just say we split in the NFC North and win the games that we're supposed to, that's 11-6. Shout out to Big Lou. He always says 11-6. So if we can at least do 50%, go 500 in the AFC North and go 4-2 in our division, 11-6 is very, very, very doable. So that was the preview to the New York Giants 2024 season by the NFL. And they have us with a very low floor and a mid ceiling. I don't know how you guys feel about that, man. They gave some valuable information in this video. We got to get our run defense way better. We got to run the ball way better. We got to protect way better. And we got to get better in the red zone on both sides of the ball. We were 25th on both sides of the ball as far as red zone offense and red zone defense last year. I believe that totally changes this year. And our secondary is better than what I thought. So if we are getting pressure with our front four, our secondary should feast this year, which Titans secondaries usually do. So yeah, that was the 2024 NFL season preview by the NFL for the New York Giants, our Giants. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that big blue join button, and join the big blue crew and talk your talk with Big Pat Sports Talk. Cop you some merch. I'm not going to continue to tell you guys. You already know what to do. You're looking at the merch. Go ahead and get it. And give your boy a shout out when you purchase the merch. But I'm intrigued by this 2024 season upcoming. And 11-6 is very doable. 4-2 in the division, 500 in the AFC North. I believe we can go 11-6. But until the next episode of New York Giants Full Access, you know what it is, man. Peace.
Hitting the mic, spitting the facts, coming with full access. Big Pat in the house with giant tactics. Eli's handoff, rapping the classics. 90s beats, we blast this in New York. Big Blue. Where the G-men roam, Super Bowls in the vault, that's the Empire's home. Red, white, and blue, where the legends are grown. Giants full access, this the zone, got the tone.